Hello. So today's question is, how do I get the job I want? Okay. Alright. I could almost guess what they're going to say already, but let's go. Greetings and thank you for the question. How do I get the job I want? It is true that there has been a thematic consistency to the channel sessions we do with you. And that is because there is a thematic consistency to existence. And that thematic consistency lays at the very root of your existence. And so when we delve into the questions that you bring to us, inevitably, as we go to a level of understanding where it is most simplified, we arrive essentially at the same place, which is to know thyself. So the question: how do I get the job that I want? The very first thing we would say is, are you sure this is the job that you want? What is the basis of that determination? If you have decided that that job is the job you want because it will reward you with greater remuneration for your time, then we would ask, have you given consideration to what you shall be doing with your time? Shall you be doing something which brings you joy? Something which you are glad to get out of bed in the morning because you know that you will be using your time in that pursuit? That is a more important question. Because if you are to take a job which perhaps, yes, gives you more money, but does not fulfill you in any other way, we would say that is wasteful. Although nothing is wasted because it all contributes to the expansion of the one. And so there is no waste. There is only addition. There is only expansion. But from the perspective of the individual that has been given a life such that you can discover the joy and brilliance and love of the higher self in the physical experience, so you can realize your magnificence. If you spend your time in a pursuit for the majority of every day doing something which you don't enjoy, then we would say you are taking the long road to the discovery of the higher self. The higher self is always in the process of being realized. It cannot be not happening. However, it can be accelerated. And when you are living purposefully and aligned with passion, it occurs much, much faster. And this is when you have adopted the model which was intended in the creation of your species. And that is to discover passion, live it fully, such that you are most alive and you are most rapidly in the process of realizing your higher self in the physical experience. Then your moments are filled with joy, doing what you do for the majority of your time on a daily basis. However, this aside, let's look at how do you get the job that you want regardless of whether it is your highest joy or whether it is linked to your passion. So the first thing we would say when we look at it from this perspective is, how clarified is your vision of this job? How clarified is your vision of you being employed in this position? The more clarified you can be about what it shall entail and how it shall feel and what your days shall look like and the environment that you'll find yourself in, then the more refined is your geometry on which your reality is built. So your geometry is an emanation from you, and then your reality will reflect back to you by manifesting itself in formation on the geometry which you are holding, which you are emanating. So for your job to be reflected back to you in the reality you experience, the geometry on which it is being built has to be clarified enough that there is a harmony, there is a match. So to get the job that you want, begin there. Become very clarified about what that job looks like. Very clarified about how it feels to have that job. Very clarified about what it shall entail in the moments to moments. What environments will you find yourself in? Become very aware, very sure, very confident and faithful that you understand it clearly. And then maintain that sense of vision regularly. And you shall begin to create the geometry which is going to cause the manifestation of the reality which is harmonic, synchronistic to the geometry. And then let it go. And then release it. Be indifferent about the outcome. Because the outcome is not what is most important. What is most important when you live your life masterfully is the energy that you hold, is the signature of your presence, which manifests the reality that you live. If you wish to masterfully create a reality which is precisely what you desire, then it is essential that you can let it go such that it is not something that you hold so tightly that the geometry is deformed. Because if you hold on to the vision and you're always checking to see if the vision has been fulfilled, then the geometry will change to be the geometry of the absence of that which you desire. Because your observation of the reality that you live will begin to take on the qualities of a vision of what you do not want. Because it shall become your focus. The absence of your desires shall become your focus. And then when they are your focus, your geometry shall become harmonic with that. And so you will manifest a reality that is harmonic with the geometry of the absence of your desires. So it is through intermittent vision seeking, intermittent vision holding, spaced by indifference, that is most potently creative. And the letting go is made easy when you realize that no matter what occurs, no matter what manifests, it is perfection and nothing else. Because it is a manifestation of your geometry. And so it's essential feedback to let you know who you are being, such that you can discover who you are not, to further reveal who you really are. And so always being reflected back to you in the reality you experience is the feedback data on who you are being, such that this process of realization can continue. And so it is always perfect. It is always the perfect reflection of who you are being, for you to use it to further realize who you truly are. Because knowing self is your purpose, because it is the one's purpose. So you do not need to cling to the manifestation of your desires. Instead, with joyous acceptance, understand that every moment that comes to you is perfection. It does not need to be something other than it is, because what it is the perfect thing for you. It cannot be anything other than the perfect thing for you, regardless of how it looks. If it's painful, if it's tragic, if it's horrific, it does not matter, because there is only perfection. And it has not come into your existence unless, in some way, it is your perfection. And so be at peace with the life that you live. Be at peace with the circumstances and situations you find yourself in, and the relationships that you experience, because these are all part of your perfection. So accept them, love them, be grateful for the blessing of receiving them, and then from those experiences, use them to discover who you are. Use them to realize what it is that you must believe, what it is you must be thinking, what it is you must be focused on that has manifested these non-desires. And through this process, you will discover who you are not. If you are experiencing situations that you do not desire, then you ask yourself, what is it that I believe that has manifested these non-desires? And through that recognition, you can understand that that belief is a false belief. And you can let it go, because you have discovered who you are not. By letting it go and releasing who you are not, you are further revealed as who you truly are. You are further realized. And this is how your experiences are used. And if you do this diligently, in a state of wakefulness, such that you are deliberately discerning each moment to decide and discover what it is has as the gem of discovery of self, then you will increasingly begin manifesting desires and decreasingly manifesting non-desires. And so when it comes to acquiring the job that you want, do not be concerned if the job does not manifest as quickly as you wished, because the most important feature of your experiences is not whether you get your desires, but it is whether you are further realizing who you are through your wakeful discernment of the experiences that you encounter, so that you can become masterfully aware of the higher self, such that you begin to be the higher self in the physical experience. And you ascend to mastery. And the mind, the body, the personality are relegated to their true status as servant to the master higher self. And from this perspective, you may find that the job you desire is no longer a job you desire, because with greater clarity you understand your purpose, you understand what is important, you understand why you have come into this lifetime, and you may choose differently. And when you choose differently from a place of higher wisdom, greater self-mastery, more comprehensive realization of the self as the higher self individuation of the infinite love of the One, you will desire differently, and you will see a different path. And that path will be a path leading to greater fulfillment of purpose, closer proximity to the realization of passion, and the discovery of the higher self in the physical experience to a greater degree. So this is not a complex matter. It only becomes complex when you desire the job so greatly that if it does not come to you, you experience anguish and suffering. This is when it becomes complex, because it is through your anguish and suffering that you create the geometry of anguish and suffering, and so you manifest more anguish and suffering, and then life becomes complicated because problems that were previously not in your life are now manifesting in your life, and so you are creating your own complexity. Yet when you are indifferent and accepting and have faith that all moments are perfect, then you can let it go and you do not suffer, because suffering is a choice. Suffering is your opinion of what is occurring. It is your judgment that what is occurring is painful, and therefore you suffer. Yet when you are indifferent, the same circumstances can occur in your life, such as you not getting the job that you want, and yet you meet it with gratitude, and you say, thank you for the conditions of my life, because I understand it is the perfection which is perfectly harmonized with my purpose, with my discovery of who I truly am. I'm blessed, and I rejoice for these circumstances. And then that creates a geometry of simplicity, of freedom, of openness, of everything is going to be okay. And such is the geometry we create, is equally simple and loving and accepting and open. And so flowing through you will be moments that are harmonic with that state of being, and life will be simple, and you will find yourself in circumstances that are more resonant with your higher self, with the peace, tranquility, love of who you truly are. And that may not include the job, because perhaps the greater journey for you is not the job. Perhaps what is most growing for you, what is most beneficial for you, is a path that does not include the job. But perhaps it does. Perhaps what is most growing for you is the job. And so it is with indifference that you come to these possibilities. If the job comes, then the job was the best thing that could have happened for me. If the job does not come, then not having the job is the best thing that could have happened to me. Because all moments are perfect, all moments are a blessing. I meet each moment in total acceptance that it is my perfection. And with great love, I say thank you. So in closing, we would like to say, have your desires. Know what it is that you wish for. Hold the vision, but let it go with indifference, because you understand there is nothing but love and perfection for you, because you are the one, and the one is love, and the love's one for itself is profound. And because the love's one for itself is profound, then its love for you is profound, because you are the one. So love, accept, live your life freely, openly, joyfully, no matter what it looks like, because it is all the blessed love of the one, for you to further realize yourself as the one and become a being of great love and joy in the physical experience. Thank you.